What up, guys? We are
Hey
back.
y'all.
The reality recap. As you know, I have to give you a little bit of the branding and we'll get into the mess. All right.
What's up, friends?
Please forgive me, y'all. Deja is still very much under the weather. I feel like I'm slowly spinning to the right because the bitch now has vertigo because of this migraine episode that I've been going through for the last month. So we're going to get through. I got about 40 minutes.
Well, hi. I'm Kandron. That's Deja. We're Black and Curious. We are getting into the reality recap mess of the week. I'm assuming you are still not drinking.
No, honey. She has good old H2O Mountain Valley.
Fantastic. I'm partaking in Black Girl Magic Rosé.
Yes. Praise the Lord. Drink for me too, friend. Because we is on the last leg, bend the knee. We holding on to Jesus, okay?
So, I think you have pop culture topics first. First of all of our beauty and drink details will be down in the description box, as well as timestamps for the episode. So if you want to skip around a little bit, so your favorite show, feel free to do that.
Please do. Okay. All right, so let's get into some of the things that I found this week that were interesting. Slow that down. And there we are. Hey, y'all, pop culture time. So, new show alert. We actually have, I think we briefly talked about this a couple of weeks ago. There's going to be a Love and Marriage DC, and it's centered around Monique and I believe some of her friends. So, I am looking forward to seeing her back on our television screens. What about you, Ken?
Sure. Monique is not now, nor will she ever be my favorite. She is not that girl. But congrats to her for striking out on her own and finding a franchise that she could build around herself, because Housewives of Potomac was never going to be it.
No. I mean, and I think it'll do well considering that it's a Carlos King production.
Yes.
So I'm hoping to see a bit more of her lifestyle and what she has going on, as well as some of the new people that will be introduced to us in the coming months. I think they're maybe supposed to launch this summer after Love and Marriage Huntsville.
Yes.
And I think the Huntsville crew comes back on the 18th of March, but don't quote me. I think so, though.
Yeah. Like I said, it'll be, from what I understand, or from what I'm seeing, or like the cast that they have, it seems like it's going to be like a tamer version of Housewives. So,
girl, we gonna see.
Cool.
I mean, they start out tame, but it don't always end up that way, because clearly Huntsville was tame and then it blew up.
Well, that was because of Martell.
True indeed.
All right, what you got next?
Happy birthday to Rihanna. Her birthday was yesterday. So, of course, because Kandron loves Riri, and I do too, but Kandron is a huge super fan. I wanted to make sure that we shouted out Rihanna's birthday. So, and I just thought this photo looked absolutely stunning with her and her baby bump.
I love her maternity fashions. She is giving it to the girls. And I'm glad she's actually just showing up as herself, because the beginning of the ASAP era, my girl was not, it wasn't always giving. And so it was disturbing me, because I just was like, please don't let this be. But she's back to herself, and she is dressing that bump like she would dress herself. I fear she was letting the ASAP dress her at a time.
Oh, well, praise the Lord that may not be happening any further. But yeah, I think that she just looks really, really happy. She's just beautiful and pregnant. And I think also I was watching something that popped up on my timeline today. She announced indirectly that she was birthing a girl, because she was saying something about that she's a Black woman. She comes from a Black woman who came from a Black woman, and that she was going to birth a Black woman. And so I don't know if that conversation is out of context. Maybe she said that long before she was pregnant. But yeah, it just happened to surface today. So I don't even know how old that clip is. But if you guys know, please feel free to let us know in the comments.
Yeah, drop down in the comments. So yes, happy birthday to that girl. To that girl. Okay.
Okay, so in controversial news, Dave is actually slated to get another set of, I think, 4 more episodes or comedy shows on Netflix. And considering all the controversy that happened earlier, or actually toward the end of last year around the most recent one that he put up, I think maybe that might even have been in October, so in the fall. I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. I know that some at one point he had made mention to wanting to sit down with the executives at Netflix that were unhappy with his productions, and so I'm interested to see, like moving forward, what he's going to do. I don't always find everything that he does funny, but Dave Chappelle is entertaining. So, what do you think, Kandron?
I don't find him either. So there's that. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of opinion one way or the other, because every time I watch him, I'm just like, I guess. And that's that.
Let us know down in the comments how you guys feel about Sir Dave and what's going on with him in Netflix in the coming months, or what you felt about all the controversy that was in the news a couple of months back. And we'll actually slide right into the reality shows. Where do you want to start?
Let's do Ladies Who List first.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I had jotted down some notes.
All right.
The first of it all is that Cristyl is the drama.
Oh, absolutely.
And she's also delusional. I had very much a disdain, not even a disdain, but a foul taste after watching the conversation that played out between she and Tiffani. I think that she just wasn't expecting for Tiffani to be so direct. Mm-hmm. And so she just tried to like skirt and dance around it. And it wasn't giving. Not
all while being the one that was claiming to be direct. And it's like, you're not being direct at all. No. It actually made me think back to our conversation about fake nice guys, because she does that. Like, she says that she's for the empowerment of Black women, but then she also is going around trying to poach their clients, and also going around being messy in other ways. She is just fake nice. She's not likable. And it was so funny to me because Tiffani is clearly like not pressed about her whatsoever, and it is driving her nuts. Hello? It is driving her crazy that this lady is just like, girl, we don't have to be in a relationship at all. I don't know you, and your energy is not giving me what I typically like in a friendship. So what are we doing? Do I need to get to know? You know what I'm saying? She's just kind of like, girl, I have to do this.
But not only that, Tiffani also was just kind of like, you feel like there's tension. Well, one of the things that we have not had a chance to talk about is the fact that you tried to poach one of my clients.
Yeah.
And so to go around and do that, like, there's plenty of business for all of us to get here in Atlanta. So for you to directly try to snatch up one of my clients, that Kira works with me, like, that's totally disrespectful to my business. And absolutely. I agree with her.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so Cristyl is just like, she's just so fake.
Very much so.
She's just so fake. And she's like, wait, are you talking about me? Because I'm sorry, I just like to be direct. It's like, girl, she's talking in general.
No, I'm talking about myself.
Like, she's talking in general. Like, if I don't vibe with your energy, then I'm not going to put forth any more effort. And clearly that is the case here. So like, what is the problem?
Hello?
And then you have also shown yourself to be not trustworthy in other ways. So like, why would I be trying to be in your face? Girl, bye.
Exactly.
So
I hope that Tiffani watching this back gets like the rude awakening that she needs, so that she can see how she's behaving with other people that cause the drama. Cristyl, not Tiffani. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that she can see, like, you are the drama, baby. You're sitting here trying to put everything off on other people, but it's actually you. So there's something that needs to be worked out within yourself.
Absolutely. Robin is actually kind of growing on me, dare I say?
Same. Started out liking Cristyl, now don't like Cristyl, and I like Robin.
Yeah.
Robin is funny.
She is funny, but also like, I really appreciate that she can de-escalate situations. Oddly, even if she's the one that stirs it up, she can also tend to de-escalate it. So the conversation that went awry with Quiana, she was able to kind of like have a very, after Quiana had her moment or whatever, and they took some time apart, she was able to like really clearly communicate with her, like, that wasn't intended for you, like, and like bring her around. And I was just like, that is impressive. Like, either she's incredibly manipulative in her real life, or she's just a good, communicator. Maybe a bit of both. Who knows?
But I think maybe because Robin don't hold no punches, she says everything that's in her head, like, I think that might be the thing. Like, I'm going to get it all off my chest and then I'm going to move on. I think that's literally like what we're seeing, because we think that it's chaotic, but now watching it back, how she went from 100 back down to 0, it's like, well, shit, she said everything she needed to say.
Yeah. And even in her conversation with Quiana, where she was de-escalating the situation, she was still very clear, like it really wasn't about you. I think you're maybe being, I hate to say triggered in this situation, but kind of like there might be something else going on that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't intended for you. And maybe, and like, I want you to know it wasn't, but also like something must be going on inside of you. And by the time they were at the end of the conversation, or maybe it was in the confessional afterwards, Quiana was like, I was projecting. She was like, I was projecting. I understand that wasn't. And I was just like, that is fascinating. And also, like, Robin seems to be at least self-aware enough to know, like, that she has also been guilty of some of this projecting behavior. So she can, like, very clearly say, like, okay, I've done too much sometimes too over a situation that didn't have anything to do with me. And so I see in you what I've done myself before. You know what I'm saying? And garner that level of respect from the other lady. So I actually appreciate that. And the way she has gone around and kind of like befriended them one by one, I'm like, she's actually very, she's got a lot of little finesse with her.
I don't disagree with you on that. I think definitely one of the things that, well, I mean, I know you don't want to say the triggers, but I think that's what it is. And I feel like her, after Quiana watching, because I think they get to watch probably like 2 episodes ahead of us. I think that after her probably watching the stuff that played out, she was just like, oh, I'm leaving this show. And I totally get it, because this show does not make you look good by any stretch of the imagination. Like the things that you have and the social media presence that you have that's uplifting and empowering women. And then now you're on TV arguing with women about, who's a mother and who's not a mother.
Yeah.
And like having these little catty cat fights, it just doesn't bode well for your public persona. So
not just that, like she has a brokerage and she's closing huge deals with like developers and stuff. Like she can't afford to have this little piece of, like this little mess around her. But I hope that she heeds Robin's advice, because she just was kind of like talking in attack mode and not really listening a whole lot, and just kind of like, girl, just absorb, just chill a little bit. And so I hope that she I hope that she also, like, we're big proponents of therapy over here. So I hope she gets some counseling or therapy or whatever, dealing with her fertility, because I am sure that can be very challenging.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with anything that you said there. Was there anything else really worth talking about? I don't think so.
No, not really. I mean, Tiana and Quiana got into it. I think Tiana kind of caught a stray, because she was trying to calm the situation down at the ranch, and then Quiana started yelling at her, and she was just like, I don't do this. She's another one. She was just like, I got stuff to lose. I have a husband. I have children. I am going home. Like, I don't have to do this with y'all.
Like, I didn't come out here for all of this.
I don't have to do this with y'all. So, but I'm glad they kind of got it to a, an even kill place by the end, it seemed.
I mean, let us hope so. It's always interesting to me how they be yelling and screaming at each other 1 minute, and then like 5 minutes later, everybody is kumbaya. Like, that's always weird to me. But
well, I think that's editing. I'm sure it's not like 1 minute.
We seem to have lost the connection there.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, we had lost you for a second. You were frozen.
No, I was just gonna say, a lot of people, after the show, they talk about the editing, but they talk about how some of these conversations and like arguments or whatever are like an hour long and you're seeing it in 5 minutes. So it's like, I don't think it is that quick.
True. I'll give you that. Let's do Salt Lake City next because I feel like that's gonna be fast.
The whole thing of it is gonna be fast.
Praise the Lord.
Salt Lake City continues to be absolutely ridiculous. And Mary just continues to be so black. Oh God, I love her. I love her. When Jenny pulled her to the side of that party and was like, "Can we talk?" And Mary was like,
"No."
Why?
Like, what do we need to talk for, girl?
No, that was Whitney. Sorry, not Jenny. Whitney. And she was just like, why? I mean, she did end up talking to her, and then Jenny's racist ass went and started throwing stuff at her.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, should have been grounds for her to be dismissed anyway, because she threw at her back as well. Like, she can say she aimed it at the ground, which is, I guess, fine, but she threw that at that lady's back. Like, she was not around to duck or anything.
I think Jenny definitely is out of here, which we already know.
Yeah.
But I think that Mary handled it the best way possible because, like, who engages crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like, Jenny wanted to fight, and the thing about it is, like, if Mary had been one of those Bout It sisters, she could have put the pause on her, and Jenny would have been laid out, and then didn't want to play victim.
Yeah.
So it's like you antagonize the situation, and then you want to holler victim. Like, girl, get out of here.
Yeah. I've pretty much been. I don't know. I told y'all before, I don't like none of these ladies for the most part, other than Mary. No. But I have kind of been on Meredith's side. Like, I get where she's coming from in terms of like her relationship with Jen. Huh?
Well, I thought you were talking about the memorial for her dad. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that is completely ridiculous.
I wish somebody would question me about what I did in the passing of a loved one. Like, are you crazy?
And it's just like, we talked about this before, of like, people lose track of time. Like, whether it happened on Tuesday or Wednesday, y'all making it seem like it was 1 month to the next. Like,
right.
It was not. It was the difference between Monday and Tuesday. Like, who cares? But as far as her relationship with what's that like Jen? That's the only part where I'm kind of like, okay, Meredith, like, enough. Simply because she made it seem like to Jen that she just needed to apologize to Brooks for the family incident, right? So she made it seem like that's what her bottom line was: apologize to my kid for saying those terrible things. She God, why can't I remember? Jen apologized, and Meredith is still like holding on to it. So I'm just like, girl, if you was gonna keep holding on to it, you should have just been like, I don't fool with you. I don't want you near my family, and I don't fool with you. But to like stage this whole sit down with her and Brooks and then be like, but I still don't fool with you. It kind of irritates me a little bit.
It's just like, what, like you said, what's the point? You could like be like Mary and be direct. No, I don't like you, and move the hell on. Like, it doesn't have to be all this.
She would have been within her rights to do that because of how Jen talked about her son on the internet. She would have been well within her rights to be like, no, I don't fool with you. Right. And I think that would have been fine. But this whole going back and forth and like, oh, I don't know, we're growing a relationship. Girl, bye.
Girl, for what? Don't do all of this. The other thing that I like, as you guys already know, I absolutely detest Whitney. I hate the fact that she does the rallying thing when people are in some sort of argument or whatever the case, disagreement with somebody else. They go and rally other people together to be on their side to help them support and, like, going after someone.
Yeah.
And like, I think that Whitney absolutely was doing that over the last couple of weeks, trying to get all these people to be rallied up to like go after Mary. And it's like, for what, sis? If you don't like her, then just don't like her. Like, you don't have to put all this energy into getting all in her business and knowing about her church and her lifestyle and who does what, where, when, and how. Like, that is so obnoxious and unnecessary.
I just find Whitney to be so obnoxious, so irritating, and the epitome of white womaning. I find her grating. She is like this, like what everybody talks about with Karens. She is the prototype.
She's Karen, yeah, definitely.
She is textbook definition, because half of this stuff ain't had nothing to do with her. Then she want to smile in your face. It's just, please go sit down.
Like, none of it. None of the shit with Mary, none of the shit with Jen, none of the shit with Meredith. Like, you are literally putting yourself into all of these other arenas that don't have nothing to do with you. Like, there's nothing for you to talk about here because none of it affected you in any sort of way. But I bet that when we get to this reunion, she's not gonna have too much to say about her legal woes that are so similar to that of Jen's and Erica Jane.
Well, her husband's legal woes. She's more of an Erica Jane than a Jen, but yes.
True. My bad. Thanks for the correction.
But yeah, it's just like I just find her to be exhausting. She is annoying to me. I won't be back next season unless they do some significant shakeup.
I don't think I will be either. I barely watched last night.
I'm very over it. Like, I've watched some franchises and been like, all right. Like OC, I was like that for, I want to say, the last couple seasons. But I didn't feel so strongly that I was just absolutely out. And I am absolutely out of Salt Lake City. It is awful.
I don't blame you. Y'all drop down in the comments. Let us know what you feel about Salt Lake City. Are you going to be watching next season? I don't think we will be reporting about it, but yeah.
Okay. I did not watch Ready to Love. I will let you take it away.
Oh, great. So, not much to be said here. P.O. is still there. And I think that in this week they did like the beach house situation. And so, I don't remember her name. I think no. What is her name? The one that went on the blind date last week with Donovan. P.O. was in the confessionals talking about how she was doing too much and that she needed to chill out. She needed to take that down a notch. But then a week prior, he was talking to the other girl, trying to ask her all these dumbass questions that don't have nothing to do with the price of tea in China or getting to know somebody. And like, she flipped out on him. And then now you're judging someone else for having personality. Like, I don't get it. I hope that
he's the absolute worst.
They left us with a cliffhanger this week. So basically, the guys had to select who was going home because it was their turn. And they pulled forward the girl I was just talking about, whose name I can't remember, and AP, which is the newest cast member added to the show.
Okay.
I absolutely think that AP is going home because she don't have no connections with nobody. Like, and everybody seems to feel like Demetrius, one of the guys, feels like that she's not ready to love in the sense that she talks about her story. She tells her story, but I'm like, that's a part of your story. If you're dating other people, you want to let them know, like, if you say I was married, the next question somebody's going to ask, well, why are you now divorced? You know what I mean? And like in her instance, she's not divorced. Her husband died. So she would not ever have been on a show like this if her husband had not have passed.
Yeah.
So to judge her off of saying, I'm a widower and it's been a couple of years and now I'm getting to a point where I want to, date and see what's out there for me. Like, that's not fair. I don't think that's fair at all. So when you
let's talk double standards, because guys, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear all the cute, happy, sexy talk up front. And it's like, but we had, what's his name last season, who, like, that was his intro. That was his baseline story, was like, he was a widow and, he still wanted kids because he couldn't have kids with his previous wife because she passed away when they were getting ready.
Yeah.
And like, that was a big part of his story. So to like act like that would be inappropriate for a woman to talk about that is nuts.
Like, I was just like, you judging her off the fact, I mean, the sis is born and she don't really have much, she doesn't have, up until this point, there's not been much personality showed from her or like interactions with the guys. So
yeah,
to then turn around and be like, oh, well, I don't think she's ready because she's talking about her husband passing and so on and so forth. And I'm like, huh?
And it's like we always say, just be clear, like,
you're not interested in this woman. Don't say that she's not ready for love because you're not interested. That's disrespectful.
Yeah. It's wildly disrespectful. Or either say like, I just don't find her interesting or something. Say something generic or something that's honest, but you don't have to try to tie it back to something that she's done wrong. She's just not interesting to you. And like, let's leave it at that.
Like Clifton probably did the best when they did on the previous roundtable when they went around. Maybe it was in this one, I don't know. But they went around talking about who they were connected to and who they weren't so much feeling. And Clifton was just kind of like, AP is cool, but I feel like we have more of like a friendship vibe. Yeah. I don't know that we would be anything intimate because one of the things she told me is that I remind her of her brother. So, I don't know about that. So it's just kind of like that makes sense, or like even Pawpaw, P.O.
I can't stand.
He irritated me too, though, because he voted Sabrina in the bottom because of the fact that she told him that she wasn't interested in him. So because this woman doesn't have a connection with you and would be friends with you or be like have a mentor relationship with you, she's got to go home. She's not ready for love.
Not surprising in the slightest. He gives that, like, that's his personality. It's like he is the center of the universe. He is God's gift. If you don't get it, then it's something wrong with you. If you don't understand his personality or want to be around him, then there's something wrong with you. God forbid it was just that you two are not compatible or just no vibes there or just no romantic feelings there or whatever. There has to be something wrong with you to not see him as more than. It's just like, please give it a rest.
Miss me with that.
Please.
Other than that, it wasn't really a whole lot. I feel like this was another one of those like filler episodes, and then they left the cliffhanger as to who's going home. So we'll find out this Friday as to which lady they voted off the island, basically.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like at this point that AP is going home because the other girl, I can't remember her name, but she was the other one that was wearing the contacts. Comb over is who I'm talking about.
Oh, yes.
Comb over has personality and she's made connections with some of the men there. So I think that she might get to stay. If they send her home, I'll be shocked.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to see. I'll be caught up next time.
So, I do have something else that I totally forgot to queue up. So I'm going to do that right now really quick.
All right.
So we talked recently about the Cardi B and Tasha K case and situation. And Tasha K sat down with Kendra G Media and Kendall. Kendall has a show that's on, I think, the Black Network.
Yeah.
And so they asked a question of her as to like what's going on. So I just wanted to play that really quick because I thought it was funny. It literally popped up right before we started.
I think it's $4 million. You have to pay a celebrity. A lot of conversation has been is, do you even have that amount of money to pay in this lawsuit? Like, is Tasha K worth that amount of money to pay that? I ain't got it.
I thought she was gonna be like, oh, of course I have it.
Don't ask me for no money. I ain't got it. But listen, we have business things in place that takes care of things like this. Now, of course, the appellate court and the Supreme Court is in process right now. So that is true. You're not trying to pay that $4 million. You're gonna do the appeal. No. That's what the appellate court. And then who trying to pay $4 million? Who? You gotta get a living borrow. Listen, that YouTube, but that YouTube money is big checks. I thought it's good, but I got 2 children. Allegedly.
So yeah, I just thought that was funny. I had to play that. So
that was funny. I totally thought she was gonna spin it and be like, "Yeah, I got so many." I was waiting. She was like, "I don't got it." I was like,
"No, sis said, don't get fucked up. I ain't got it." Okay. But yeah, absolutely. If you have not watched that video, it's the defamation case, a case of defamation.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna link it in the cards. It'll be up above.
Yes, check it out. We get our commentary on that, but I just thought it would be funny to share that with y'all.
All right, well, that's it. I don't have anything else.
I don't either. So thanks for watching. Until next time.
Laters.
Make sure you follow us on all of our social media.
Yes, comment, subscribe also.
Bye.
Bye.